The Battle of Crete, the 20th of May, the 1st of June 1941, was a significant conflict during World War II, marked by the first large-scale airborne invasion in military history. It took place on the Greek island of Crete, involving German paratroopers and mountain troops against Allied forces, mainly British, Greek, Australian, and New Zealand soldiers. By May 1941, Germany had already conquered mainland Greece in the Battle of Greece, forcing Allied troops to retreat to Crete. The island held strategic importance due to its location in the Mediterranean, offering control over sea routes and proximity to North Africa. Crete was also home to important Allied airfields and naval bases. Despite the presence of around 42,000 Allied soldiers on Crete, their resources and defenses were limited, and they had little to no air support due to German control of Greek skies. The German invasion plan, codenamed Operation Mercury, was unique in that it primarily relied on airborne forces. Adolf Hitler, initially reluctant to authorize such an ambitious attack, was convinced after the Luftwaffe, German Air Force, demonstrated its success in previous campaigns. General Kurt Student led the German airborne forces, known as the Fallschirmjäger. The plan involved mass parachute drops and glider landings at key locations on the island, with the aim of seizing the airfields of Mainland, Heraklion, and Rethymno. The German forces would then bring in reinforcements and supplies, effectively overpowering the defenders. However, due to underestimating the strength of Allied forces and overestimating the impact of their air superiority, the operation faced unexpected resistance. The invasion began on the morning of the 20th of May, 1941, with a large-scale paratrooper drop near Mainland, Heraklion, and Rethymno. The Germans immediately encountered fierce resistance from Allied troops and Cretan civilians, who were ill-equipped, but fought with determination. Many German paratroopers were killed as they descended, as the defenders were able to shoot them while they were still in the air, or as they tried to regroup. At Mainland, the heaviest fighting took place. Although the Germans suffered heavy losses, they managed to gain control of the airfield on the 21st of May after a strategic mistake by the New Zealand defenders, who withdrew from key positions, fearing encirclement. Control of Mainland airfield was critical for the Germans, because it allowed them to fly in reinforcements and supplies. With the Mainland airfield in German hands, the tide of the battle began to shift. The Germans quickly flew in more troops and equipment. The fighting was intense across the island, especially at Heraklion and Rethymno, where the Allied forces resisted fiercely, but eventually found themselves outnumbered and isolated. Allied commanders, including Major General Bernhard Freyberg, who was in charge of the defense, realized that without air superiority, it was impossible to hold Crete. Communications between units became increasingly difficult, and the German forces started gaining ground. The Cretan population played a notable role in resisting the German invasion. Despite being largely unarmed, they used whatever weapons they could find, from knives to farming tools, to fight the Germans. This fierce civilian resistance, unprecedented in modern warfare, contributed to the high number of German casualties. By the 27th of May, the Allies decided to evacuate. The Royal Navy organized a series of evacuation efforts to withdraw Allied troops to Egypt. Around 16,000 men were evacuated, but approximately 18,000 were left behind and taken prisoner by the Germans. The Germans declared victory on the 1st of June 1941, when the last pockets of Allied resistance were defeated in the southern part of the island. The battle cost Germany dearly, with nearly 4,000 dead and 2,600 wounded. It was one of the bloodiest battles fought by the Germans in World War II. Though Crete fell into German hands, the battle had significant long-term consequences. Hitler was horrified by the heavy casualties suffered by the Fallschirmjäger, and concluded that airborne operations were too costly, effectively ending large-scale paratrooper assaults for the rest of the war. For the Allies, the Battle of Crete was seen as both a strategic loss and a lesson in the importance of air power. The courage of the defenders, including the local Cretan population, was widely admired, though the battle highlighted weaknesses in communication and coordination among the Allied forces. Crete remained under German occupation until 1945, during which the Cretan resistance continued to fight in guerrilla warfare, contributing to the broader struggle against Axis forces in the region.